At dawn on July 2, 1937, Amelia Earhart climbed into her twin-engine Lockheed Electra, sleek, silver, and restless like its pilot. She was the first woman to attempt a flight around the world along the equator, an impossible feat in an age when radio crackled like static and navigation was still part art, part faith. Her voice was calm, confident, and full of purpose. Hours later, it would vanish into the empty Pacific. What followed was not just a disappearance, but the birth of a mystery that would haunt the 20th century. Was it a crash, a capture, or something more extraordinary? This is the story of how one woman's ambition took her to the edge of the known world and beyond it. The morning air over Lee shimmered with tropical heat. Earhart and her navigator, Fred Noonan, lifted off, carrying enough fuel for 18 hours and a destiny written in clouds. The Pacific stretched endlessly ahead, offering no landmarks, only blue. Communication with the Coast Guard ship Itasca was erratic. Her radio equipment worked inconsistently, and Noonan's celestial navigation was challenged by overcast skies. By the time she neared Howland Island, the radio was nearly silent. Her final message, tense but steady: "We are on the line 157-337. We are running north and south." Then, nothing. No distress call, no wreckage, only the whisper of static fading into the great Pacific void. When Amelia's voice fell silent, the world listened harder. Within hours, the United States Navy and Coast Guard mobilized a massive search, an unprecedented effort across 250,000 square miles of ocean. Battleships swept the waters, pilots scanned the waves for silver, metal, or orange life rafts. Radio operators around the Pacific reported faint distress signals, ghostly voices, impossible to trace. Hope flickered, then faded. On July 19th, the search was called off. President Roosevelt declared her lost at sea. But for millions, the word lost was only the beginning. For decades to come, the Pacific would keep its secret, until technology and persistence began to challenge the silence. The simplest theory remains the most haunting, that Earhart's Electra ran out of fuel, descended through clouds, and met the Pacific in silence. Oceanographers believe the aircraft may rest on a steep undersea slope near Howland Island, thousands of meters deep. Modern sonar surveys and robotic expeditions, including missions by Robert Ballard, the man who found the Titanic, have searched the seabed. Some sonar anomalies and metallic fragments hint at wreckage, but nothing definitive. In the cold dark below, the truth may lie buried under coral, unreachable by time or technology. Yet every expedition brings us closer to the final echo of that flight. In 1940, a British colonial officer discovered human bones, a woman's shoe, and remnants of a navigation device on the remote island of Nicumararo, over 350 miles southeast of Howland. Decades later, reanalysis of the bones suggested they matched a woman of Earhart's height and build. Forensic anthropologists, studying skeletal measurements and genetic markers, proposed an eerie possibility. Amelia may have survived the landing, stranded on a desolate coral atoll, her radio sending desperate calls that no one clearly heard. The coral runway-like surface of Nicumararo could have allowed an emergency landing. When tides rose, the aircraft may have been swept into the sea, leaving only scattered remains and whispers of a life that endured beyond the headlines. Another theory takes us into darker waters, that Earhart and Noonan drifted far north, crash landing in the Marshall Islands, then under Japanese control. Some post-war witnesses claim they saw a white woman and man held as prisoners. A few American soldiers later insisted they heard whispers of a female flyer executed or transferred to Saipan. Documents surfaced, photographs appeared, and then were debunked. Yet the rumor refused to die. Was Amelia a victim of geopolitical secrecy, or simply the focus of a nation's refusal to accept loss? To this day, the Tokyo connection remains a potent blend of speculation, coincidence, and Cold War paranoia. A mystery that feeds on absence. In the days following the disappearance, radio operators across the Pacific, from California to Nauru, claimed to receive faint, desperate signals. Some messages mentioned the words "Northwest" and "Help." Others contained garbled numbers and static. The U.S. Navy logged over 50 such reports. While many were false or impossible to triangulate, a handful aligned with nighttime ionospheric conditions that could have allowed real transmissions from a stranded plane on low power. Imagine Amelia, sitting beside her damaged Electra, speaking into the radio as waves broke against coral. Her words traveling thousands of miles, then fading into static. Whether real or imagined, those signals kept hope alive and kept the mystery alive even longer. For over 8 decades, scientists, explorers, and dreamers have returned to the Pacific in search of answers. Using sonar, submersibles, and underwater drones, expeditions by groups like TIGHAR and National Geographic have revealed tantalizing clues: aluminum fragments consistent with the Electra's construction, and glass vials resembling 1930s freckle cream. Yet, for every find, skepticism follows. The ocean guards its secrets with patience. Despite millions spent and technology undreamed of in Earhart's time, the mystery remains whole. Each dive, each sonar ping, is an echo of humanity's stubborn refusal to let go, a search not just for a plane, but for meaning in the void. Whatever the truth, Amelia Earhart's final flight transcended tragedy. She became more than a pilot, she became a symbol of possibility. Her courage challenged gender, gravity, and the limits of what was known. Each unanswered question about her fate keeps her legend alive, not as a ghost of loss, but as a beacon of human persistence. In the end, perhaps the mystery itself is her legacy, a reminder that exploration is not about certainty, but the willingness to step into the unknown. Amelia vanished into the sky, but her echo endures in every dreamer who dares to fly beyond the horizon.